going to try not to repeat a lot of what has already been said, but to actually add practical dimensions to what's being talked about. And there are two areas. One is that I lead a project called the Colloquium, which for the University of Stellenbosch Corporate Governance Unit, which is getting together a small, well, about 36 people to actually discuss what issues need to be addressed and to address them, to think strategically about how to improve corporate governance in South Africa. And we've been going for 18 months. From that has emerged 4 to 5 papers based on the discussion and based on think pieces around the issues which were thought to be important. And we've had 3 discussion days as well, but a lot of people have actually inputted, including Phil Armstrong, by talking on the phone or by sending in emails about their thoughts about the papers and about the ideas. What we're hoping to do is to publish the papers in a publication this year, to have a seminar around it, and probably to have a retreat, because one of the, well, there were two basic things which people expressed a desire for. One was to have quality time to really think and rethink and discuss and share their values and beliefs and assumptions about things, particularly in a country with diverse cultures. It was felt that now is probably the time to sit round a table or to break bread and to be together for a long enough time, not to just give these values and assumptions lip service, but to actually deeply explore them and come to some conclusions about what are the deeply bedded values that everybody agrees in. So we're also hoping to hold a retreat this year as well. That's the colloquium. I've also spent the last 20 years as an international consultant, running my own company in London, but working in the United States, the UK, Europe, and India. And what we did is we actually pioneered board evaluation, both internal evaluation and independent evaluation, and helped to develop programs of how do you develop board performance, the how of how you do corporate governance, and also the same with the executive committee, and then how do you work on the relationships between the board, the executive, and the investors, the fund managers. And part of that was also working, so one of the companies we worked with for six years. 6 years is quite a normal period of working with boards and with companies. 6 years with BP Global when Lord Brown was there, and he actually had more to do with environmental greening in terms of the oil industry than anybody else did. He pioneered that. But also, what is your model of governance? And what are your principles, governance principles, that as a board you adhere to? Because the other thing that one of the other things that the group actually said, that they thought that one of the primary problems of corporate governance in this country is that the majority of board directors do not understand the fundamental principles of governance. They go there, they pretend they do, but when you say, what does it actually mean? a lot of them don't really know. So the fundamental principles and how you act them out in today's climate is incredibly important. The other company that I also spent a period of time with was Hermes Focus Asset Management, which was the second proactive fund management fund that started proactive fund managers. So we had to work out, a bit like the Matrix, how do you assess particularly underperforming boards? How do you assess them, and how do you intervene in such a way that they can start performing and produce a return on your investment? Now, they pioneered it, and I am particularly interested in the human side, the quality of the people and the quality of the dynamics that go on at board level. So we worked that out, but at that time it was still very much the profits at most cost, at any cost. And therefore quite a lot of the interventions were pretty ruthless. Now it's quite possible that, and particularly in terms of the quality of people, the number of times I had to go in to persuade a chairman that the chairman's sell-by date was over was enormous, because the investors said that chairman is not serving the purpose of the company anymore. To try and do that in such a way that the outgoing person leaves with dignity and feeling that they've left a really significant legacy is hugely important. And that's one of the governance things that I don't see, is how do you enable that succession process to happen without blood? Because the number of character assassinations I've seen in trying to get rid of people who you ought to find a better way of actually leaving, and leaving in a good way. Obviously, it's equally important who you select on your board and whether they are competent to deal with it.